results of my CT scan, and it wasn't good news. The cancer is back and it has spread, so it's now incurable. So I had the CT scan a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago now, and I had the results last Thursday. So it's taken me a week to do this video because obviously there's been a lot to process. So before the appointment, I obviously had a couple of weeks to wait between the scan and the appointment, and it's horrible really, because you're just anxious, and I wasn't sleeping well, and you know, you kind of keep flicking between thinking it's going to be good news to worrying it's going to be bad news to, you know, then thinking, well, what's the point of even thinking about it, because there's nothing you can do until you actually go and get the results. Paul, my husband, came with me to the appointment, as he has done all of the appointments, and he was really quite positive beforehand, and I was trying to prepare him that this might not be good news, but he was convinced that, you know, the results would show that there was no cancer, and you know, we can move forward with, you know, maybe going on the clinical trial. And although in the back of my head, you know, I was thinking this might not be good news, I don't think I was, well, I know I wasn't actually properly prepared for it. So anyway, we went to the hospital last Thursday for the appointment. We walked in, and the consultant had quite a sombre look on his face, which kind of immediately made me start to think, this might not be going the way that I want it to go. I shook his hand and I sat down, and he didn't say anything, and he kept looking at me with this kind of sombre look, and he didn't say anything, and it was probably only a couple of seconds, but it felt like a lifetime. And then eventually he told me, I can't remember what his exact words were, but you know, he said that the scan wasn't what we'd hoped, and that the scan had shown that the cancer had returned. So the whole appointment itself is a little bit of a blur. I can't remember the details, but I can remember the facts. And so he broke the news. I took it very calmly, very collected, you know, asking lots of technical questions. But Paul had a much more emotional response. I think I probably went a little bit disassociated, so like I wasn't quite there, and I just kind of switched into, like I say, technical mode really. But they gave us a few minutes, so the doctor, the consultant and the nurse left us alone in the room for a few minutes to gather our thoughts, compose ourselves, stop crying, and then they came back in, and we talked a little bit more. So the cancer is spread into, it sounds like it's spread into muscles, which it's not what I was expecting at all. So although in the back of my mind I knew that this was likely to happen at some point, I just didn't expect it to happen so soon, and I certainly didn't expect it to happen in such a widespread way so quickly. So from what I understand it, the cancer is in or next to a muscle down in my groin. It's in the intercostal muscles around the right hand side of my ribs, and it's in some muscle on the right side of my back. That's what they saw in the CT scan. And the plan is that they are going to refer me to oncology, and I've actually got the appointment through. That's on Tuesday. See the oncologist to think about what treatment we might be able to try to slow it down. So it is metastatic. It's stage 4. So like I said, there's no hope for a cure. But what I do hope is that the treatment can help to keep it under control, to stop it from progressing, so that, you know, I've got a bit more time than I would without. So that was the appointment itself. Bit of a blur. Like I say, it's been a week ago now, but it feels like it was about a year ago. And then afterwards we were both in a bit of a daze really when we walked out and went back to the car. And then the first thing that I had to do afterwards was go and tell my family. So I tell my son, my mum and dad, my sister, my mum told my brother, tell my good friends. Yeah, and that's really hard. That's been the hardest thing really since telling people. It's just horrible to tell people something that you know is going to upset them, or yeah, just horrible. And it was getting a little bit like death by 1,000 paper cuts, kind of having to keep telling people over and over again. You know, each time you meet somebody or talk to somebody who hasn't heard, you know, they ask, how's it going? How was your appointment? So what I decided in the end was to do a Facebook post. So I wrote a Facebook post telling everybody, you know, cancer's back, cancer's spread, it's not curable, but I feel okay. And I've been overwhelmed really with everybody that I've told. I've had so much love, so much support, you know, people have just been amazing. And I've had lots of flowers, like you see some behind me, and just the lovely messages, and you know, some from people that I haven't heard from for years. And you have to look for the positives, and that's one of the positives from this, is it gives me an opportunity to, you know, reconnect with those people that I haven't seen, and you know, really cherish the relationships that I have, and make the most of them. So how have I been since I heard the news? A little numb, but surprisingly okay really. Obviously I've been upset, obviously I've had some tearful moments, but I haven't fallen apart. I keep expecting that to happen at some point, but it hasn't happened yet. I feel quite well. I do have some aches around my back, around my side, where the cancer is. I've also got a long-standing ache up in this shoulder here, and I don't think that would have shown on the CT, so I'm not sure how high up it came, but I don't know if it actually got that shoulder muscle, that shoulder joint in, so whether there's something in there I don't know. And I've also found a lump in my right tricep muscle, so I'm kind of expecting that that's going to be a metastatic tumour as well, and obviously I'll speak to the oncologist when I see her on Tuesday and mention those two areas as well. But I've been quite well, as I say. One thing that has been quite disappointing though is exercising. So I went out and did parkrun on Saturday, and it didn't go very well at all. My heart rate kept on really kind of spiking up, and then taking a while to come back down, so I had to do quite a lot more walking than I would have liked, and that kind of brings it home, I guess, as this is real. This is having an impact on me. There are symptoms, and I'm not able to do everything that I was able to do a few months ago. And the chances are that that's the picture that's going to continue. You know, I'm unlikely to start getting fitter. So that's one thing to try and brace myself for, I guess. As I said, I've been overwhelmed with the amount of support I've got, and you know, I could have gone out 3 times a night for the last week, The amount of people that have, wanted to see me, wanted to take me out, which is lovely, but it is a little bit overwhelming. I'm a bit of an introvert really, despite appearances. I haven't gone back to work yet, so I'm still off work. I know that my head's not in any way close to being the right place to be able to go to work and, do a half decent job, let alone do a job that I would be proud to do. Can't really concentrate on very much for very long before the thoughts about the diagnosis and the future kind of come back in my head. So in the immediate future, on Tuesday I have my appointment with oncology, where I hope I'm going to hear a little bit more about my prognosis in terms of how much longer I might anticipate surviving. Hope to hear about treatment. I hope I can start treatment quite soon. When you know you've got these things growing in you, it's not a nice feeling, it's not a nice thought, so the sooner I can get some treatment to try and slow that down, the better. And then I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do longer term. So what am I going to do about work? What are my options? What about my plans for going on holiday? I think going somewhere far-flung and exotic, that's off the table now really. For one, I won't be able to have vaccines. For two, I don't know how the treatment's going to affect me, so I don't know how much energy I'm going to have, I don't know about other symptoms, and I don't necessarily want to be too far away from hospital or from help should I need it. So I need to think about that. I'm going to continue to enjoy all of my lovely friends and family. My birthday's coming up soon, so hopefully I might see a few people for my birthday. Continue trying to get back into exercise and trying to kind of get back some level of fitness of what I was pre-operatively. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. So the summary, I've now got stage 4 metastatic renal cell carcinoma, which is not curable. I don't know yet about treatment, and I have no frame of reference yet for prognosis for how long I might have left. But those are things I hope to have by the time I do another one of these vlogs, maybe next week. So thanks again for watching.